keep wondering what year we will actually change. Well, 2023 is behind us, and it should come as no surprise that we shattered climate records. Let's have a look. Observed concentrations of the three main greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, reached record high levels. In 2023, global mean sea level reached a record high since 1993, reflecting continued ocean warming as well as the melting of glaciers and ice sheets. Global sea level rise has increased eightfold since 1950, and it's doubled since 1980. Another climate impact, Antarctic sea ice reached an absolute record low for the satellite era, 1979 to present. The annual maximum in September was 1 million square kilometers below the previous record low maximum from 1986. Arctic sea ice extent also remained well below normal, with the annual maximum and minimum sea ice extents being the 5th and 6th lowest on record, respectively. Between March and September 2023, the Arctic ice cover shrinkage was roughly the same size as the entire continental U.S. In the first quarter of 2023, California saw a dozen atmospheric rivers, some dumping 6 times the amount usually received. It was not uncommon for areas to receive 8 to 12 inches per storm. In January, San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, and Montecito received 12 inches in a day and 24 inches in a week. This caused deadly flash flooding and mudslides. In San Francisco and the Bay Area, January had one of the largest storms on record, unprecedented in over 80 years. Property damage is estimated at $4.6 billion. There's been severe drought in Central and South America, resulting in dangerously low crop yields and 30 to 50% loss of glacier ice cover in the Andes, with some smaller glaciers fully disappearing. We also saw Tropical Cyclone Freddy traveling across the southern Indian Ocean, Mozambique, and Madagascar for 37 days and producing 87 units of accumulated cyclone energy, or ACE. It was the longest-lasting and highest ACE-producing tropical cyclone ever recorded worldwide. Additionally, it is the third deadliest tropical cyclone recorded in the southern hemisphere. In the spring, nearly 32 million people were in urgent need of life-saving and life-sustaining assistance due to the most prolonged and severe drought in recent history in the Horn of Africa. They lost tens of millions of livestock, which produced sustenance and income. No milk for children, and no money to feed them. 5 years of drought left soils unable to absorb moisture, so severe flooding has now killed dozens of people and continues to wipe out entire villages. Nearly 1.6 million have been displaced, and millions more affected by the severe climate-induced floods throughout the Horn of Africa. This includes Somalia, Ethiopia, and Kenya. It is the worst flooding in Somalia's history. In May, Tropical Cyclone Mocha, the strongest storm on record in the North Indian Ocean, hit Myanmar and Bangladesh, killing 463 and causing $1.5 billion in damage. In July, nearly half of Europe was on alert from the Cerberus and Chiron heat waves. In Greece, work was banned between noon and 5, and there were 82 fires across the country. 19,000 were evacuated from the islands of Rhodes and Corfu. Drought in Spain caused severe crop failure. Over 15,000 deaths were recorded in Europe due to the heat. In the U.S. and Mexico, much of the country experienced 40-plus days straight of brutal heat. The Maui wildfires were the deadliest in the U.S. in more than a century. At least 100 were killed, and 2,200 buildings, mostly residential, were destroyed or damaged in the Lahaina fire. The cost to rebuild is estimated to be $5.5 billion. Cyclone Daniel was the deadliest Mediterranean tropical-like cyclone in recorded history, as well as one of the costliest tropical cyclones on record outside of the North Atlantic Ocean. In Greece, severe rainfall led to flooding that caused over $2 billion in damage, making it the most costly recorded storm for the country. Libya was hit even harder, with torrential rains causing 2 dams near the city of Derna to fail. This resulted in more than 4,000 deaths and tens of thousands of people missing. It was the deadliest storm to hit Africa in recorded history, surpassing the 3,000 killed by flooding in Algeria in 1927. 70% of the area's civilian infrastructure was destroyed by the storm. 80% of the water system was gone, and half of all roads impassable. 11 bridges collapsed. Property damage in Libya is estimated at $19 billion. Canada's 2023 wildfire season started in early March and ended in late October. Many of the fires were ignited by summer lightning storms and burned for months in remote areas. The Canadian wildfires burned 6 times the 10-year average and affected air quality in Canada and most of the United States. By the end of September, more than half of the world's countries could fit inside the land burn. It was all told an ecologically unprecedented event in the Canadian wilderness. It's estimated that 5 billion trees burned. In October, Hurricane Otis devastated Acapulco and broke the record for the strongest Pacific hurricane to make landfall with winds at 165 miles per hour. It left 52 dead and 32 missing. Due to the increasing intensity of tropical storms, a new Category 6 level is being proposed for storms with winds over 192 miles per hour. There have been 5 such storms in recorded history, all within the last decade. In 2023, the U.S. saw 28 confirmed weather-climate disasters, with losses exceeding $1 billion each. These events resulted in the deaths of 492 people and caused $92 billion in property damage. Grouping the past 44 years into quartiles, it's easier to see the trend. The number of events has increased 5-fold, the number of deaths has nearly doubled, and the level of damages has increased by 5.5 times. Global average sea surface temperatures were at a record observed high. Ocean heat content reached its highest level in the 65-year observational record. It is expected that warming will continue, a change which is irreversible on centennial to millennial timescales. All data sets agree that ocean warming rates show a particularly strong increase in the past 2 decades.
Hitting new records as we speak right now. Where you see the red, that means water temperatures are above normal. Where you see the blue, that means water temperatures are below normal. And as you can see, as we spin the Earth, well, very few areas are in blue. Look at the main development region of the Atlantic. It's really, really warm right now. And you can see that warmth extends across the planet. And when you compare it to other years, take a look at where we are. We're at record territory once again. Water temperatures around the globe, 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. When you combine all the water around the world right now, even hotter than it was last year. And last year was off the charts.
And at the conclusion of January 2024, average global air temperature has officially remained 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial temperatures for 365 days. This is what the 2015 Paris Accords was all about. 174 nations signed an international treaty agreeing that it was crucial to stop the world from getting 1.5 degrees hotter by 2100, and it is now clear that we are on our way. We are pushing this planet beyond and hoping all will remain the same.